Recording in progress.
And it's, oh my goodness, T+2. We took off a long time ago. Good morning, dear Dharma friends. I can take this off. Turn that down. Hang on. There. I am that which presents itself as Robert Beatty. I've been around a while, 73 years. I have aspirations of being here a bit longer. Oh, I just had a thought here. Hey, Dave Mayer, you recognize this? Is that you? Sure looks like you.
It sure looks like, yeah, that's me. Where's that from? Hard to tell on this screen where that was from, and that was pretty blurry.
It's Cloud Mountain.
No, I don't think. Oh, yes. Yes, that was a weekend retreat up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says 12/16/93. Are we that old? There's another one here too somewhere.
Pictures don't lie, I guess.
Well, they say that. How about this is more?
I was just going to say we had a big drumming circle that night. That was amazing. Yeah, I was wearing my Tiger's Heart sweatshirt.
You were so young and cute.
No comment.
Well, you're still cute. You're just not so young. All right.
By comparison to one. Right. Check me out when I'm your age.
Yeah. So then you'll get gray hair. Well, dear friends, we made it through another night. So we have another day to be forces for waking up in the world. I'm Robert Beatty, coming from Portland, Oregon. This is a broadcast of the Portland Insight Meditation Community on a date. It's November the something. Close enough. I'm here with my wonderful friend Jim Dalton, riding shotgun. So I have a brief reading. It's from it was quoted by Wayne Dyer in Your Sacred Self. You ready? Salam and greetings of peace. In a mother's womb were two babies. One asked the other, "Do you believe in life after delivery?" The other replied, "Why, of course, there has to be something after delivery. Maybe we are here to prepare ourselves for what we will be later." "Nonsense," said the first. "There's no life after delivery. What kind of life could that be?" The second said, "I don't know. But there will be more light than here. Maybe we will walk with our legs and eat with our mouths. Maybe we will have other senses that we can't understand yet." The first replied, This is absurd. Walking is impossible and eating with our mouths ridiculous. The umbilical cord supplies nutrition and everything we need. But the umbilical cord is so short, life after delivery is to be logically excluded. The second insisted, well, I think there's something, and maybe it's different than it is here. Maybe we won't need this physical cord anymore. The first replied, nonsense. And moreover, if there is life, then why has no one ever come back from there? Delivery is the end of life, and in the after delivery there is nothing but darkness and silence and oblivion. It takes us nowhere. Well, I don't know, said the second, but certainly we will meet Mother, and she will take care of us. The first replied, Mother? You actually believe in Mother? That's laughable. If Mother exists, then where is she now? I love that line. Where is she now? The second said, she is all around us. We are surrounded by her. We are of her. It is in her that we live. Without her, this world could not and would not exist. Said the first, well, I don't see her, so it's only logical that she does not exist. To which the second replied, sometimes when you're in silence and you focus and you really listen, you can perceive her presence and you can hear her loving voice calling down from above. So, dear friends, please let us follow the ancient ritual of sitting down right here, right now, and experiencing the utter mystery of consciousness. Let us come home to the actual facts. The fact of life, the fact of the body, notice the aliveness in the hands and arms, the fingers. In fact, if we pay attention to what we call hands, do we even find hands? Perhaps we find instead a boundaryless aliveness. receiving the aliveness of the face. The aliveness of the body as it is pressed against by whatever you're sitting on. The aliveness of what we call legs and feet. Everywhere awareness opens within this living body, there's life. And with these sensations arises consciousness. And ever since that fateful moment when she who in this lifetime played the role of mother could no longer feed us or provide oxygen through that little tube, ever since that fateful moment when oxygen started to run out in the body and the carbon dioxide built up and we gasped. Whenever since we began participating in life after birth, there has been this in-breathing and out-breathing. And there's breathing in and the expansion of the chest and abdomen. And then there's breathing out. Of course, there may also be thoughts. There might be desire or disliking. There might be restlessness and agitation, worry, planning. There might be sleepy dullness, sloth and torpor. There might be doubt. There might be emotions. There may be seasons of these emotions, of these hindrances. And ultimately, they are all known to be anicca, impermanent. Mindfulness is like the sun. It shines on everything without distinction. The most lofty thoughts, the most depraved thoughts or actions. It shines on generosity and greed. It shines on the crisply luminous mind and the mind lost in the hindrances, embroiled in the hindrances. It has no opinions for or against anything. It is simply illuminating. It knows. It remembers to know. And each breath has its moment of beginning, just like each thought, like each lifetime, each friendship. Each day, each season. And as the true scientists that we are, we take this seat right now. Time and again we awaken from the dreams. The song of the self with its I, me, mine, mine, mine. In some mysterious way, suddenly, effortlessly, that which was subject becomes an object of observation. Along with mindfulness, we cultivate curiosity, a boundless curiosity. What is going on? We persist. We exert a kind of effortless effort. We develop concentration. Time and again, coming home to a training object. We develop equanimity in that we can be with more and more intense experiences of pleasure and pain without being blown off center. A kind of quiet inner joy emerges sometimes, which is just there. It's not dependent upon some pleasant experience. And we can also remember our true nature as love, as metta. And we can make this very complex, or it can be as simple as I love you with your name at the end. Or to feel this that we take to be our body. And to feel it all. To feel the aches and the pains, the pleasures, the strengths. To be present and at home in the body when it's sick, when it's healthy. Love and mindfulness are synonyms in a way. When we dare to stop, to come out of the dream states of thoughts and into reality, we will discover discomforts. There's that place on the neck that hurts, or the itch we want to scratch, or maybe the ache of the illness. Or maybe there's remembering the grief. When love encounters pain, suffering, it converts instantly to compassion. When we dare to feel the challenges, the pain of being a human being with an open heart, then we become compassion. And so we come home to the aliveness of this moment, right here, right now. And it's such a relief to not be demanding it to be different. May all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice. May our teachers and mentors and friends, family, acquaintances, competitors, enemies, all beings, may we all remember to be awake in who we really are. They've been doing this for thousands of years, the meditators. They get up a little early, they do whatever's necessary to prepare for the day. They make their way to the Dharma hall. They file in quietly. They take their seat. And they practice being awake. And this is in preparation for a whole day of practicing being awake or of being awake. Of tending to the children or running the machine or sitting there looking at x-rays all day or fixing the car, doing the errands. It's all one practice. Thousands of years. We're in such good company. Thank you for being here, Jim. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, I will be starting an 8-session reflection on the beautiful book, What the Buddha Taught. The link for the registration for that is in the chat. There's also a link in the chat you will recognize, familiar old link, which if you're in a position to make a contribution to PIMC in recognition of these gatherings, please do so. And thank you to everyone for your incredible generosity toward the building project. Some new numbers came out yesterday. I didn't get a chance to study them at all, but thousands of dollars have come in order to make up the deficit between what the ramps and everything are costing and what we anticipated or what we had. So we're doing it as we always have. I will go to the center today. Mish is painting, I believe. Yesterday she sent me pictures. The living room is being transformed. And I don't know what's happened vis-a-vis the other construction, but I will find out. I have a construction team meeting where we all gather in Zoom or at the site actually today to see what's happening. And there's lots of they run into lots of problems, quote, things to deal with. And have these very sophisticated ways of letting everybody know and gathering information. They create RFIs, which requires further information. Candle is teaching on Sunday night at 6:30 or twice a month. Insight and metta practice. Strongly encourage you to do that. Anything from you, Jim?
No, not today.
Thank you, sir. So now it's an opportunity if you have something you'd like to share.
Hi, Robert. It's Dave. Can I ask a couple of questions? I think you alluded to this yesterday, but one of the things that keeps me from signing up for classes is just the time difference. Did you say that the recordings are going to be available so that
Yeah.
I don't have to, it's not 10 o'clock at night when I have to start
No.
the class?
No, they'll be available. Yeah,
Okay,
they're
good.
available to people who are in the class, and I ask that people not spread them around for confidentiality reasons. Yeah.
The other question, what was the date on that picture again?
Let me look. Wouldn't it be interesting to discover that we were somewhere we didn't know? It's like, wait, I don't know where it went here. Maybe the picture doesn't exist. What the hell? There's pictures
It's
in
all a delusion.
I have pictures in Tibet here on top. Oh. You know, you get to a certain age like this and you look at pictures and here's some. What's this? Is this it? Yeah. Discover there's people who are no longer here on the planet. 12/15/93 and 12/16/93. 93/03 13. Good grief, it's almost 30 years.
That was exactly 1 year after I bungee jumped out of a law office and left behind a 14-year law career.
Huh.
And was in the middle of a divorce. And I felt like I was dancing on the top of a cliff.
Huh.
And it was interesting sitting here in this vessel of awareness, just looking at everything that's passed through it since then.
Mm.
And it just hit me right at the end how much your teachings have been, I'm going to say a lifeline. I think more appropriately a zip line.
I like zip lines.
Yeah, it's been a zip line to hang from as I cascade through, or anyway. And also, who is the author of that Life After Birth? That reading always gets me, and I can never remember it.
It's Wayne Dyer. It's from one of Wayne Dyer's books.
Okay. That's a powerful reading for me.
It is.
Anyway,
I love that. Where is she? Where is she? She's so neglectful.
Well, and what's interesting is that, in all of that zip lining, when I really, really fell off the cliff was when my mother died about 9 years ago. And I've been trying to get myself back up ever since. And so that just really spoke to me a lot. Anyway, thank you for everything.
You, David, are a poster child for persistence and for the power of the Dharma to wake up a human being.
Well, if I can share one more thing, because actually this has been really, for lack of a better word, cool. But in my sitting, I've been exploring the literal truth that everything's happening in here. All of the sensations of everything, the fact that there's an out there, that there's a Robert out there is kind of a delusion. Mm-hmm. The way, two eyes, our mind fabricates 3 dimensions. And I've been sitting with everything. Oh, that's in here. It started about a month ago. You were guiding me and you said, there's a story. Look, there's a story. Oh, everything's in here. And as I've gotten more specific with that, just in the last, 3 or 4 days, I've found some hatred. And I sat, that hatred's in there. I said, interesting. So is the hated. The hater and the hatred, they're right here. And I sat with the hater, and then I sat with the hatred, and they were all inside here, whatever here is. But it's within this experience. And that's been going to say earth shattering, but actually earth settling. I've actually been able to sit with just the experience of hatred. It was like a candy wrapped in hatred, and in the middle of it was this condensed, deeply distilled, highly concentrated essence of Dave. You know, the energy behind hatred is I hate, and to take the hate off the wrapper off it and just have this distilled energy suddenly paint the whole inside of awareness. That's been anyway, it's been exciting, and you guys are the only ones I feel I can share it with. So thank you for the moment.
It really is important to have Dharma friends, because otherwise one's sharing sound like the musings of a mad person. But it's true. Thanks, David. Anybody else?
Good morning. It's Kat.
It's Kat.
I have some very basic questions on the non-dual nature of reality that I'm wondering if you could expound upon. I say that kind of jokingly, but not really. I have been sitting a lot with the Shanyu's Suzuki quote of everything is perfect and there's always room for improvement. And this is not a complaint. When you lead the meditations, it all sounds really simple. And then I struggle with which reality to attend to. Am I attending to the reality where everything is perfect, or am I attending to the reality where there's room for improvement? And I don't know. And then I get lost in thought, and then I'm not meditating at all. And then I notice I'm thinking and try to come back to the breath, and that's the cycle, which is a pretty nice cycle, I gotta say. But I was wondering if you could talk about that a bit.
Funny. Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. I'm not sure right now. I'm remembering something from Matt Flickstein. About the paradox. There's nobody here. The notion of making decisions is delusional. And every breath, every thought, every word is of the utmost importance, and one must be responsible for every single gesture. What do you make of that? But is there life after birth or not? So when the question arises, which one to pay attention to, I would, in my own practice, notice, here's the thinking mind creating a question. Thank you for sharing. Back to the breath. That's the best that can happen from this end this morning. There's another thought. While I was on retreat at the beach last week, the connection was intimate and tangible, and now it seems like thought. In the mindfulness training, there's a notion, there's a teaching that says, practice bare attention. In the seeing, notice seeing. In hearing, notice hearing. In breathing, notice the sensations of breathing. That's all. And all the elaboration that comes through thinking, am I doing this right? Is this the right practice for this moment? Is this that when those questions are noticed simply as thinking, we're right here. And the practice is, and I do believe this practice is utterly simple. All the complexity is created by the mind. Be here now, right? What could be simpler than that? Well, what does that mean, be here now? Just having another intrusive. Where these thoughts come from, I haven't the least idea. They just appear. But there was a time, and now here's the thought. It's a fantasy. Did this happen in objective reality? Whatever that is, I think it did. I was at a place, Cloud Mountain. I was on retreat. And I had a spot that I liked to walk with Cloud Mountain, up on the hill. I went back there many, many times, hundreds of times, I would think. And when I went on retreat, that I was sitting the retreat rather than teaching, this is confession, I feel embarrassed. The first walking period, I would be out the door like a rocket because I wanted to stake out my turf on my walking spot up at the top of the hill. Because it was my spot. And there was a day when I found myself in my spot. And I had no idea what I was doing there. All the Buddhist theory, all my understanding of meditation, it was all gone. The only thing that I could remember was, well, I know what to do here. I walk back and forth, and I observe lifting, moving, placing, lifting, moving, placing. And then the mind would chirp up, wait, why am I doing this? I have no idea. There's just this. And that was a very interesting thing. All cognition was gone, really. And the meaning of why would I be walking back and forth like this? I have no idea. But I can be right here with this very beautiful lifting, moving, placing. Thank you, Kat.
Thank you.
For what it's worth, another moment, a long time ago. My first wife, when we met, was the holder of a vial of pure Sandoz pharmaceutical company window pane LSD. And we took some with us into the mountains. We went into the Wallowa Mountains. Beautiful. We entered from the south. I've been up 3 of the drainages on the Wallowas. Anyway, this afternoon we decided to do this, or morning, I guess. And it got to be kind of a bad trip. And with acid, it blows your ego so wildly apart. There was no stability anywhere. But the one thing, and we'd separated for some time. I forget what happened, but there I was, and I was in a kind of agony of craziness. And the one thing I could remember was, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha, and this is breathing in, and this is breathing out. In the psychotic state that I fell into after my brain surgery, when I was on that Keppra, a medication that makes me psychotic, and there was terrible anguish for half a day or more. The only thing I could remember there was, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. It's kind of like a prayer. And this is breathing in. This is breathing out. Handy to have bare attention at our disposal for those times when the floor falls away. Thanks, Kat.
Hi, it's Joy. Hi.
Hello, Joy.
I had an experience that was really wonderful once where when I was meditating, I felt like I could perceive my life as sand piles, like building sand castles by the side of the ocean. That was how meaningful all my fabricating was, because it would all be washed away. Mm. That was nice, and I'd like to have that experience again. But a strange, grabbing. In terms of destabilizing, I noticed that it's very close to the surface. Even when the internet goes down, I feel all kind of upset. So I'm not sure. I think myself are very close to being upset and destabilized by simple things going wrong, which to me could be an indication of how far along I'm not in my practice. But I don't know if you have any thoughts on how much we actually rely on things being the same.
I'm always touched by the clarity and simplicity of what you share, Joy. That it's possible to make a diametrically opposed interpretation, which is,
mm-hmm.
Wow, isn't it wonderful that you're having this experience of how fragile everything is and how we are utterly dependent on things being predictable, and that your practice is such that you're seeing how you're dependent upon the internet, or you're dependent upon mood, or and that then is well, it can bring up some compassion. I mean, I mean, our, how, we are so fragile. The self and our grounding in reality is so fragile that almost half the people in the United States believe the big lie. This is insane.
Yes.
And yet, and not so long ago, we had the witch burnings.
Yeah.
These hysterical phenomena. The Freud put it, the veneer between the veneer of civilization is very thin. And as a meditator, we discover how thin it is in ourselves, and that then allows us to become more awake, and then quite possibly when the metaphorically, when the internet comes down, we will actually be able to remember, oh yes, I want to stay human here. I don't want to lash out. I want to stay loving and compassionate. So I as unpleasant as it is, I commend you on seeing how
So, in fact, if the raw sewage rises in the basement because our plumbing fails, and we get all upset, it's not an indication that our practice hasn't been strong enough.
No, everyone likes shit in their basement.
I kind of freaked out.
Well, okay, you freaked out. And then did you run crazily down the street, or did you lose functionality, or did you recognize, wow, this mind is really freaked out?
Yes, I did. And I thought I'd better meditate some more. And then my husband went and fixed the plumbing, so which was lovely.
It's handy to have someone like that, isn't it?
Oh my God, that kept us married for like the next 30 years. But I did have a wonderful experience though, where the practice did really work, and that was when I was. It was at night in the hospital after kind of a painful surgery, and then my mind said to myself, this is the suffering of suffering, right? This is the suffering of being a human body. And that was actually quite helpful.
Put things in true perspective.
Like the suffering of suffering comes to us.
Yes. You know, I'd like to comment. You said when your practice really works. What is it about having a freak out internally around sewage in the basement and being aware of it? How is that your practice not working?
Failure of equanimity, I guess.
I see. Equanimity is bigger than that. When one becomes emotionally upset and can accept that, that's equanimity.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That's so helpful.
Right, that we're not going to get rid of our personalities. You know, the phone rings and something horrible has happened to someone you love.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they were going to go at some point anyway. Not a big deal.
Right.
That's not equanimity. That's ridiculous.
Delusion.
But, whoa, here I am sitting in the waiting room at the ICU, and I don't know whether she's going to make it through surgery or not. And there's fear and stuff. Staying conscious and bearing with that and not acting out. That's equanimity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much. That's very beautiful to contemplate.
to set the record a little straight. Yesterday morning, I was celebrating. I had almost no impact from the COVID vaccine the night before. About half an hour after I finished the broadcast, I felt really crappy. And then I wound up spending several hours sleeping, which was very helpful. And then by mid-afternoon, it passed on, but it was not nice. My body working to create whatever it does, and certainly worth the price. Well, very sweet conversation this morning. I need to go soon. I have my stepson's car to get to the shop. Anybody sitting with something you'd like to share? Almost 30 years, Dave. That's pretty amazing.
So many more to go, I hope.
May it be so. So let's go out on our Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Please unmute if you feel like being part of the cacophony.
Oh.
Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good morning, sunshine.
Thank you, dear friends, for coming to be together this
Joe.
morning.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Hey, B.
Thank you, Sangha.
Love you, Robert.
Bye. Love you, Dave.
Bye, Dave.
Bye, Ed.
Thank you, Robert.
Be well, be
Thanks,
well, be
Joe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Happy trails to you. Prepare for the leap to hyperspace. Oh, I missed. Here we go. Goodbye, friends on Facebook and YouTube.